Okay, so the concept I want to talk to you about today is the concept of mastery and why you haven't mastered anything in your life. So first I want to start off with the definition. I'm going to give you some of the factors of what comprises mastery and the journey towards mastering any task in your life, and that applies to any task in your life. Literally, it could be washing the dishes, your career, driving, anything. I'm going to talk to you about why society is against mastery and how to kind of overcome it and how to recognize that, the different archetypes or the different types of people that go on the mastery journey, and then I want to give you kind of just to hit it home some quotes and then the benefits of sticking to the mastery process, finding out what it is that you want to pursue in your life, that passion, and what are the actual tangible benefits that come from pursuing that passion. So first, starting with the definition. The definition to mastery is basically the journey of learning a task or passion with focus. Learning to love the process instead of trying to work towards an outcome. So it's a means to a means, not a means to an end. So you learn to love the practice. It's practice, practice, practice. That's what he says in the book. Great book, by the way. Either Mastery by Robert Greene is great, or Mastery by George Leonard. I read the one by George Leonard, and I'm actually currently reading the one by Robert Greene, but great book, small. You could probably read it in about 2 days, and it gives you so much insight. It's unbelievable. So, back to what I was talking about. You learn to even love the plateaus. Plateaus are basically those times in your journey where you're not actually seeing any tangible progress. This is what the master's journey looks like. So, you might have that initial spike of learning, hitting over that learning curve, and then you might hit a plateau, right? And on those plateaus is where you have to really learn to love practice, practice, practice. Because getting to that next climax or that next learning point will take some time, because there's going to be inevitably plateaus. You're not always going to be learning, otherwise everyone would be the best at anything. So, with that being said as well, the factors to consider. One is continuous learning and always remaining humble. So never believe that you know more than you know. So the thing is, you'll actually realize is that you might read a book and understand that concept and then think you're an expert. Whereas those people that know quite a bit are the ones that talk the least. And it was kind of contradictory saying, I read one book and now I'm talking about mastery, but it's more just me sharing the insights. I'm not rebutting anyone's claims, nothing like that. I'm just kind of sharing what I learned. So the ones that know the most will talk the least because they're continuously learning. They know that they know nothing in comparison to how much they can know. And then the other factor are things like the plateau, like I said, learning to love that, the points of no progress, just learning to love what you're doing for the sake of doing it, a means to a means. And then again, loving the process. And then with that is the mastery, the concept of mastery, not actually working to become a master because the journey never ends. It's becoming world class in whatever niche you decide on. That's what's going to give you so much fulfillment in your life and satisfaction, is dedicating yourself to one specific task, no matter how hard it gets. Okay, so now I want to go into kind of an example that shows how society is really against mastering itself. So look at all of these quick fixes. Look at companies that they'll cut their current costs to increase their short-term profits to satisfy shareholders, but will compromise the long-term effects or the long-term gain of the company just for short-term rewards. That's the idea, is that you're too focused on a quick outcome versus looking at the long term. Same with, for example, Advil, getting rid of pain right away, right? Is if, for example, you had let yourself, it's about quick fixes, get rich schemes, online dating, cutting the process of going out there to meet someone and mingle with people, right? You want to get it fast. You want to get that solution quick. Also, another thing that society markets to you is constant climax, hanging with friends. I mean, these are all great things, but the problem is that you got to look at things that will change yourself, change from within. These are all external factors. So hanging out with friends, going to amusement parks, movies, restaurants. All these things are just kind of climax, climax, climax. There's no actual upward progression. It's just kind of climax, 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 and then what happens is once they stop, you go down because you lose that stimulation, right? So the idea of the mastery concept is not just boom, 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 up, 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 and then falls. It's constant, slow growth, but the idea is that it's consistently growing, okay? So now talking about the archetypes or the types of people on the mastery journey. So I'm going to use an example. Someone who's going on a diet as kind of a way to frame this. So number one is the dabbler. The dabbler is someone who will get into something because they see the benefit of it. They'll say, okay, that vegan diet looks great. It worked for a lot of people. Maybe it'll work for me. They'll see initial results, and then all of a sudden it'll start to get more and more difficult. Maybe they'll start breaking their diet a little bit, but then they see this next diet that also proves results, right? So then they'll jump to that one because they see they're brought on by the instantaneous benefits from it. But the problem is when you yo-yo between things, you really tend to get nowhere. They just jump from one thing to the next, hoping for instant results with really not actually tangibly gaining any benefit over the long term. Then there's the obsessive. The obsessive is someone who will aggressively and obsessively pursue a result. That's the problem, is they're too focused on a result and they try to shortcut plateaus. So instead of thinking, you know what, I'll be patient, which is what you should be, and I'll take it slow, I'll love the journey, they're focused on the result. That's exactly what you shouldn't be doing, because it's a lifelong process. It's not something that you'll ever fully achieve. So the thing is that this person will say, I'm going to hire all the best coaches, I'm going to read all the best books, I'm going to get mentors, things like that, just take it to the next level. And the problem is that they'll work 14-hour days and kill themselves. And then the plateau comes because they're obsessed with the results that they're getting. Then the plateau comes and they'll not know how to stick through that and love to not see results and just love the process. They'll say, okay, let's try and shortcut this and just go even harder in it. Yeah, they might see even more results, but the thing is that long-winded plateau, they'll burn out eventually. So, and the problem is they don't just burn out, they fall off completely usually. You've probably been in this case before in your life. Most people are dabblers with anything that they do. But the third one is the hack. The hack is someone that will achieve actual results. They'll stick through the plateau and they like it. They might get to that second stage of learning where they actually achieve some level of mastery. But the point is that they become complacent and they may stop on their mastery journey on that plateau and not actually strive to see more results. They'll kind of just stick with it and level out at comfort. That's where the problem is that they won't ever try to advance themselves. And then the fourth one, which is the master. The master is someone who loves the journey, loves the plateau, the practice concept is ingrained in his mind. The master is someone who is not so much about the results. Like I said, he's about wanting to achieve world-class instead of dabbling in different diets, or the obsessive, that's someone that just will try and light a fire under their ass with negative motivation and just kill themselves on that diet, cut their calories by 50%. Yeah, you'll see results, but you will eventually burn out. And then the hack would be someone who finds a diet that's great, but the problem is they're not trying to progress or make themselves even healthier. They might say, I'm good at 150, when they know that they could get to 140 or 130, and that would be even healthier. So, a quote. I'm going to use the assistance on my iPad here, which in YouTube time just popped out of nowhere. So one of the quotes is by Alfred Lord Tennyson. He said, "The happiness of a man in his life does not consist in the absence, but in the mastery of his passions." And look, oh, it magically disappeared in YouTube time too. So, but the idea though is that these kind of quotes kind of show you that mastery gives you the benefits that I'm about to tell you about. It gives you ultimate fulfillment and happiness in your life. It gives you something to work for. It gives you energy to wake up in the day, a focus in your life. Something that you love to do. Like, for example, I hated the gym initially, but now I go and I love it. I struggle, but I love that struggle. You'll learn how to do this with anything that you do. It's just a matter of deciding to do it and sticking with it, being patient, and taking it slow. That's where you're going to see the ultimate results and benefit coming back to you. The idea too is that you become valuable and inimitable in that specific area or niche that you're focusing on. Inimitable means that it can't be easily copied, because you've gone on this 10-year journey to become as good as you are. And people will come to you if you are world class at that, because there's a quote that says that be so good that they can't ignore you. That's what's going to happen. If you do achieve absolute mastery, just get better and better and better, you can charge half decent amounts of money for whatever you're doing, whatever your craft is. You can charge for that. The value that you have as a person that you give to someone else comes back to you in equal or even exponentially more value. So there's so many benefits to the mastery process, and I'm actually going to, on the next video, talk about the 5 keys to mastery, so stay tuned for that. Check out the blog down in the description box below. Check us out on Instagram at The Happiness Perspective, and stay tuned for more videos. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in the future.